howdy, howdy, howdy. Finally, senior citizen here. Greetings, boys, girls, and to all of our non-binary friends, and welcome to this, a brand new day. And remember, no matter who you are valid. Thumbs up for that. Hokey smokes, it has been a late day today. It is almost 1 o'clock p.m., and I only just finished taking a shower. Oh, I've been taking it slow today. So, that's okay. Sometimes you need to do stuff like that. And also, as a reminder, I've got, you can't really see it because I'm in the way, but I've got all the stuff that I usually put on my bed is still in a stack behind me on the table. So I wanted to remind everyone that all the people in my Squashmallow family, since I don't always show them, this is Ernesto. Hard to do the proper tongue roll when you're wearing dentures, but Ernesto. So, not the name that came on the label, but the name that's on the label is not as important as the name that I give them. So, thumbs up. And I like to call them Squishmallows because they're small, but they're, of course, from the Squashmallow brand, and oh, they're so soft. Ah, no wonder they give them to children. They are very, very nice. Anyway, though, I have some things written down up here on my list because I always have ADHD brain, and that's life. Again, though, ADHD is only in the terms of current modern life a problem. Way back when we needed stuff like this, ADHD and the ability to hyperfixate on things would have been one of the things that helped keep us alive as a species. It's just that in today's modern world, the hyperfixation that you get from that and the inability to focus and remember things otherwise, that's a problem in today's world, not in the times when all of this was occurring. So it's a problem in that it's happening at a point when the things that we need it for aren't really here. So I've got ADHD brain in that, a couple thousand years ago, or even more, it would have been a boon and a blessing. But right now, effectively retired because I'm disabled, it doesn't really help. So thumbs up. Anyway, though, wanted to talk about some more about Disco Elysium. That is an amazing game. I talk about in it how I feel both at the same time. No, not really at the same time, but I can go from being just feeling pathetic. And actually feeling that when making the choices that I'm making for the character. Because I've made that kind of choice, and I have felt pathetic while doing it. And then laughing out loud at the dry presentation of sarcasm by the narrator toward me. It is amazing. There are times that I go, how can I be laughing at this? This is just horrible. And then other times just laughing and go, why am I feeling sad? This is hysterical. So, amazing game so far. Definitely a thumbs up on that. What else do I have up here on my list? Oh yeah, with all the shadows and such, I do not yet have a ring light, and I'm not quite sure how well that would work. The cord on this only stretches so far, so I can't go far in the room. And right here where I have everything and I'm recording, there's no space back behind me for a ring light. So if I did have one, it would be just behind the camera with blaring, blinding light in my face. So that wouldn't help. So I'd have to figure out a different way to do all this. And I might be able to figure out a way because they have covers and filters to help diffuse and lower the light. So we shall see. But the big point on that is I still need to get me a new pair of boots. I'm wearing 10.5 now. I have, through most of my life, worn 9.5 to 10.5. But these are 10.5s, the same size as the other 10.5s I used to wear before this pair. And my toes are right up near the front, which is why the front part of my toe, well, it's the side part, jams against the front part of the boot because I'm walking at an incline because of the things at my heels to push them up so that my bone spurs don't hurt. Wow, that was a whole lot of explanation. But it jams my foot forward. It's like if this is your toe, your right toe, if you're looking at your right toe, downward at your right toe, here is your outside of your right toe. It is right here where I have that calcium node. And so it is right above it where all of this problem occurs with the pain. Because that's where the blisters happen. That's where all this is. And if my foot didn't jam into the front of the shoe, that wouldn't happen. But I'm so close to the front of the shoe that I'm jamming into the rounded part where it comes up into the toe. Does all that make sense without being too horribly boring? So I'm going to try and I'm starting to think that I should have been wearing like a 10 or a 10.5 my whole life instead of jamming myself in a 9.5. But I'm thinking of trying to get like an 11.5 size. Because I can't find an 11.5 or 11 wide. And I need wide, so jump up to a higher size and hopefully that would fit. And I want to get it at Walmart here because it's a lot easier just to take boots that I need to get a refund on back the 0.7 miles instead of shoving everything back into a box and sending it to Amazon again. And then weeks later when everything works, finally getting another pair of boots to try on and hopefully those fit. I'd rather just walk to Walmart. But right now they haven't had anything. They'll have 11s and they have like 12 wide, but not what I need. And everything around that, they got 10.5 wide, 8.5 wide, 9.5 wide, again, 12 wides, 12.5 wide. Nothing wide for 11s, so I'm going to try an 11.5 and see if that works. If it's too big, again, I'd just take it back. Thumbs up for that. But which else do I have here? Oh, I'm going to talk about this one probably for the rest of it because I think it's an interesting part of my setting, and I've talked about it a little bit before, well, a lot before, but that was like years ago, and I want to remind myself and give a reminder to other people who care, about my cryptid part of my setting, where I have mentioned that on the razor's edge, at the center of the razor's edge, there is a mountain, and nestled in a valley, a very pleasant valley, at the base of the mountain is a little city, Apple Rock, so named because on a clearing and a ledge up the mountain overlooking the city, there's the ledge and then a giant apple-shaped rock, and that is a kaiju not wearing, but with armor on its back and its limbs that will every 4 to 6 years unfold itself to its industrial block size with, one paw, one paw, one paw, one paw, all those on the 4 corners of an industrial block with a head and then a balancing tail. And this is what it unfolds into. And then it walks down into the city, crushes a lot of the infrastructure, eats a few thousand people, and then wanders back up the mountainside, curls back up, and with its armor folding around it, because it is larger on the inside than it is the out with its armor, until it's back into the shape of an apple-shaped rock, for another 4 to 5 to 6 years, where it happens again. The question is, why would anyone stay there after it happened the first time? And I've mentioned these people are drugged to the gills by the kaiju. Its diet is exclusively human beings and the clothing that we wear, but its digestion is so absolutely efficient that an entire human being, the only waste product of that, is about a liter of an odorless, colorless, inert gas. And the kaiju, being as powerful as it is, cannot stop the fact that it is now a physical being and needs to do all these things and has this gas that just exudes out of its skin that just fades into the atmosphere. It can adjust the compounds that are within this waste gas that go out. And it has done so. And it experimented through watching people and adjusting itself until it's reached the point many, many thousands, if not billions of cycles ago, to have this down to an art for any specific mood or thing that it wants, it can do. Because inside of this gas are several not very large, but large organic compounds. And when these enter the human body, they hook onto specific parts of the brain and nervous system. And as the body breaks these down into metabolites, each of these metabolites has a specific spot that it slots into. And as they're broken down, each of these falls into its place until they're all broken down and gotten rid of. Everybody is drugged to the gills in Apple Rock. It's not toxic. You wouldn't even notice any effects, except that some people are affected quite strongly by these compounds. Some people are affected weakly by these compounds. But they foster things like a great sense of community. And when you see your fellow citizens of Apple Rock, just a strong familial love. You frequently see new people that move to Apple Rock. When they're in an area that's semi-crowded with people around them, they'll just suddenly look around with a big dumb grin on their face because they can't believe how lucky they are to be surrounded by all of these wonderful people. And with the compounds doing all of these things, when they're in town, not to a dangerous degree, but all of the reward neurotransmitters bump up just a tiny bit. Everything is richer and warmer and more beautiful, and the people friendlier, and the food tastier, and the air tastes wonderful, and there is nothing better than simply existing in Apple Rock. They don't know that they're being manipulated to feel this way. It is just for them a natural feeling. And after a rampage, this gas is adjusted so that the feeling of community with the organic compounds really gets driven into everybody's skulls by how strongly drugged they are. You're clear-headed. Absolutely clear-headed. But when you look around the wreckage and you see the dead and the dying, and you look at your fellow survivors, you don't feel the sense of horror to move. You feel the sense of, we've got to pull together and help. We have to get things, we have to start rebuilding. And none of this is an actual real feeling that any one of them would have if they were not being drugged by the kaiju. It's to such a degree that I figure if I could write this out, it would, I've mentioned before the full storyline of life starts here because it takes place over a year. And like a month into it, or less than that, maybe even just weeks, That's when the kaiju rampages. And then the rest of that time, the full year, shows the ramifications of everything that happens there, as well as on the inside where the Crimson Kingdom is, and the King and Crimson, and how they help out. Things that happen on the Razor's Edge, and what happens with people that are able to travel via glamours on the outside where we are, because they have friends that are affected by all this. With with a bunch of little side stories, like the town of Abernathy, and, well, they all get eaten. And just little tiny stories here and there. But even people that come in to help, like I figure at the end there's an engineer who is doing some outside work where they're rebuilding part of a building, and they're talking to some other people. They mention that they feel good about this work that they've been doing, and they've already entered into a contract for work in Apple Rock. They've gotten themselves a home. All they have to do is finish up their current assignment, head back into the Crimson Kingdom, close out all of their contracts and housing there, and they're moving back out to the Razor's Edge to Apple Rock. Because while they were building it, helping to rebuild it, they were impressed by that sense of community that surrounds the entire place. And yeah, there's a kaiju that comes down and eats a few thousand people every couple years, but that's just a minor thing. Because this place and these people and the air and the view and everything about this place, well, he can't wait to move in. He's got that house all picked out. And he knows better. He's here to pick up after 12,500 people got eaten. And he's going to move in. Drugged to the gills. Some people are so affected by this that even the idea of leaving Apple Rock sends them into absolute panic attacks. Some people, if they do leave Apple Rock because they are no longer being drugged and they're no longer having those massive amounts of reward neurotransmitters, away from Apple Rock, the whole world seems cold and callous, and the people in the world uncaring, unfeeling. But they go back to Apple Rock, and the people are so wonderful, and the place is so good, and the community is just how could you ever want to leave? And then, of course, there are some people that they have businesses, they have to make business trips out, and it doesn't really affect them. They feel better. They feel good when they come back home. But it's not like they have to be home. They feel good when they think about home, but it doesn't make them anxious. And hey, call to action time. If you could like, comment, share, subscribe, that would be very, very cool. Making sure to share only with people that you think would like watching an old man yammer on in an incomprehensible fashion about thoroughly inane things. Thoroughly inane things, likely because the inane fashion, incomprehensible fashion in which they are delivered. Thumbs up. Thank you. And of course, if you are a Patreon patron, thumbs up and thank you so very much. I tried to say several things at the same time and it did not work. You helped me out incredibly. Thumbs up and thank you so very much. When you look in the mirror, you are looking at someone beautiful and awesome. And for everybody that leaves me a comment, you too are beautiful and awesome in your own way. I read every comment that YouTube shows me. I thumbs up and heart each comment that YouTube allows, and I answer as many comments as my nerve compression will allow, which is not as many as I would like, but it's better than none at all. So thumbs up. Thank you all. I am going to edit, render, upload. I'm going to take care of myself the rest of the day. I was playing video games for a very long time this morning to take care of myself. Right now, I can't even remember what I was playing, but it might have been Bloodshed at one point because I needed to take a shower, but I was playing games and then, I could have got to take a shower because I died. So, thumbs up. I am going to be recording more Disco Elysium. I'm still going to be recording more Supermarket Simulator and Grocery Store Simulator. Those are not gone. It's just once I stop playing something and time passes, then the more I'm going to forget and the less of, and the odds are so much less I'm going to come back to it. And the longer I wait, the less the chance I'm going to play. So I need to keep up the momentum or it's done. So yeah, I'm going to be recording at least that today. So definitely a thumbs up. And hopefully you can get done the things that you would like to get done. And hopefully you have not been too thoroughly irate about the way that I've been having difficulty making my brain work. Because I've been having difficulty making my brain work. I'm very tired, insomnia catching up to me. And I've been having headaches a lot. And it must be stress because I checked my blood pressure and it's actually doing pretty good on the meds I'm on. So it's not like because my head's trying to explode from, too much pressure in my blood. But if you could write Kleenex into the comments for blatant engagement farming, that would be very, very cool because that lets me and the YouTube algorithm know that there are actually people out there that watch these videos. And I do appreciate each and every one of you that watches these things through to the end. When I say that there are only a few people that watch to the end, you are the people that I'm referring to. And I'm not putting down anybody that doesn't. I myself do the, I'm watching for 2 minutes, and then I click over to another video. It's not that I don't want to. I just can't focus long enough to watch something all the way through unless I'm doing something else and need it on as background noise. So I can't blame anybody else. Now, I try my best. I'm usually managed to come back to those videos and finish, but I'm not always able to. So thumbs up. Those people of you that play this little game, I do appreciate it very, very much. So, until we meet again, you take care. Have a great day today. I will see you on the flip side. And that is, indeed, a very, very good thing. Yeah, life is fun and wonderful. And I'm glad to be alive. And I'm not even being sarcastic. I do appreciate and enjoy metabolizing. And I hope to metabolize for quite some time to come. One of the reasons that I fear surgery is if you die during surgery. Yeah, the odds are low. But you're rolling a 20-sided die every time you do something like that. And you can always roll a natural 1